Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Thank you so much for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Hey, baby, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's Friday. We're getting close to the end of the month of May. Can you believe that June will be here in just a few days?
No, I
Time
can't.
flies when you're having fun. Got a special guest coming up later on the program today. We're going to be visiting with Patrick Quade, and Patrick is with a website, IWasPoisioned.com. And Patrick was actually had food poisoning and realized that we don't really have a good system in place to let people know about that. So set up this site, IWasPoisioned.com. It's a really interesting concept, and I'm looking forward to learning more about Patrick. It's coming up later. Hey, if your boss can't give you a raise, what's the next best thing? How about a new job title? A new survey says almost 70% of office workers would be willing to give up the raise in pay for a more professional-sounding title. Filing clerks would like to be called data storage specialists. Janitors like to be called custodial engineers. So if you're a boss and you don't want to give them a raise, at least give them a nice new title. And it sounds like they're going to be happy with that. What do you think about that, Heidi?
I would not care one bit about my title. I would want the money.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll come up with some really nice things to call you if you'll work for free.
It's better than mean things you usually call me, so I guess that'd be a step in the right direction.
All right. Coming up, we got some special things happening on this day. We'll tell you about that in a bit.
John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. It's Friday, May the 27th. Today is Cellophane Tape Day.
Cellophane tape?
Yeah, cellophane tape. I think that's like Scotch tape.
Yeah.
But Scotch tape is a brand, so I believe cellophane tape is the non-brand.
I see.
Anyway, today is Don't Fry Day. Even though it's Friday, it's also Don't Fry Day. So you're not supposed to fry anything today. It is Heat Awareness Day. And depending on what the forecast looks like, isn't every day Heat Awareness Day? It is Hug Your Cat Day. No guarantee that they will hug back. It is National Title Track Day, and it is National Wig Out Day. So all of those things are happening today. If you have a cat and you do successfully give that cat a hug, now you got to see if you can get a selfie hugging your cat to post that online to celebrate Hug Your Cat Day. That might be a little more difficult. There you go. All that stuff happening on this Friday, the 27th day of May.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
You know it's true because you heard it on the radio. Most parents pray their kids will never grow up to join a street gang. In Commerce City, Colorado, one couple actually was fighting about which gang their 4-year-old should join.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, 19-year-old Joseph Marnarzas, I don't know how you say it. Anyway, he's a member of the West Side Ballers Hispanic gang. He stormed into the Hollywood video store where his girlfriend works. They still have a Hollywood video store. That's cool. Threatened to kill her and then knocked over several video displays and her computer. That's not good. She, by the way, is a teenager as well and a member of the Crips. She told police that they had been arguing about the upbringing of their son and which gang he should belong to. Joseph was arrested and charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and domestic violence. Again, their son is 4. He's 19, so that means he was 15 when the son was born. Doesn't say how old she is, it just says she was a teenager. So they're very, very young, and they have this child together. And the big argument now is, which gang should our baby boy be in when he grows up? Should he be in this West Side Ballers Hispanic gang, or should he be with Mom and the Crips? Which one? Who do you vote for, Heidi?
Such great parenting.
Which one do you vote for?
Neither.
That's what I vote for as well. I think maybe you should both get out of the gangs, and maybe you should, raise your child without the gang at all, because then maybe he won't have the kind of problems you guys are having, where you're going in and, breaking up a video store over things like this. I just can't even imagine. Anyway, there you go. That happened in Commerce City, Colorado, and it's true because you heard it on the radio.
John and Heidi.
The John and Heidi Show is brought to you in part by the Keystone Treatment Center.
This is your brain, and this is your brain on drugs. We share silly stories here on the program, but addiction is no joke. If you or someone you know suffers with an addiction to drugs or alcohol, make today the day you seek help.
Call toll-free 844-204-1055.
That's a toll-free number. Again,
844-204-1055.
and this is Your Brain on Drugs. This is about James Martin. He was entering the county courthouse to pay a fine stemming from a 1999 drug bust. So he had a fine from way back when, and a metal detector went off. Sorry, the guard said, you have to empty your pockets. Trying to figure out what was setting off the alarm, he reached deep into his pockets and pulled out a dime, which he handed to the guard. He reached even deeper and pulled out a plastic bag full of marijuana, so a dime bag as well. He also handed that to the guard. Now he gets to go to jail for a while where they have plenty of other metal detectors, so this guy apparently wasn't the brightest criminal because...
Didn't learn his lesson.
No, he had a drug charge from 99, going in to finally pay the fine, and then he was walking into the courthouse with drugs in pocket. Not very smart. Bad idea. Don't do that. That, kids, is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
A man met a really hot chick at Drake's Bar in Kendall, Florida. And when I say hot, I mean really hot. A 20-something woman at Drake's Bar in Kendall, Florida agreed to help with a display involving liquor and fire. As the woman danced on the bar, she noticed that the aforementioned liquor and fire had set her foot ablaze.
Oh, my gosh.
She panicked and accidentally kicked the flaming mixture onto a man that was walking by.
Oh, my gosh.
The man suffered burns to about 20% of his upper body, and both were taken to the hospital. So I'm not sure what they were doing there at the Drake's Bar in Kendall, Florida, but, there's a hot chick on the bar, and she's hot because she's on fire.
That is a dangerous night out.
Yeah, don't do that kind of stuff. I kind of feel like we're preachy today, telling people not to do all these dumb things, but don't do all these dumb things. Doesn't it feel like there's people doing just stupid stuff
There's
today?
always people doing stupid stuff.
Yeah, don't do that
Always.
stuff. Do smart stuff. Do good things
Where
for
are
your
all the
community.
smart people?
Oh, we'll get to some of those in a bit. How's that sound?
That sounds
We
good.
do have your scoop of the day on the way.
The Scoop of the Day is brought to you by Wells Blue Bunny. If you want delicious ice cream, be sure to look for the Blue Bunny. Sure to have your favorite flavors. Learn more at bluebunny.com.
Now, your scoop of the day. In California, an amusement park operator has taken down an inflatable slide called the Titanic because somebody complained that the name was offensive. So it was an inflatable that looked like a giant boat that was sinking.
Why was that offensive? Who is that offensive to in any way?
I understand where they're coming from because if you lost a loved one on the Titanic and they're going, oh, now you're making a slide out of that, I could understand where that would be offensive.
That is not offensive. It's a clever idea for a ride. It's not offensive. People need to realize what is offensive and what is not offensive.
Her name is Heidi.
It's not like they made a Holocaust ride where you could go.
That's even more offensive.
Yes, that was something that was done on purpose. This was an accident.
It was.
That's ridiculous.
I can understand where they're coming from. I see both sides of that story, and we're going to just move on as fast as we can. Hey, a police camera filmed a duck breaking the speed limit in Germany. It registered at 39 kilometers an hour in a 30-kilometer-hour zone. The duck was flying a few centimeters above street level when it triggered a speed camera. A spokesperson for the Germany police say they have not been able to trace the offender, but they said, she's free to go. We're okay with that. So they did not track the duck down. But there was a duck flying 39 kilometers an hour in a 30-kilometer-an-hour zone. It's a fast duck. Apparently, pizza cannot be classified as brain food. Jacksonville, Florida's Joseph Whittington was arrested after he broke into a Hungry Howie's Pizza and stole cash and credit card receipts. How do they know it was Joseph on the surveillance video? Well, it seems Joseph works for Hungry Howie's at the very same location that he broke into, and he was even still wearing his uniform during the break-in. That is not very smart.
Not at all.
No, don't do that kind of thing. Hey, when 31-year-old Peter Howler entered the bank he wanted to rob, he did not anticipate seeing a security guard. Peter quickly stuffed his gun back in his pocket, but as he did, guess what happened?
What happened?
The gun went off. Peter shot himself in let's just say the backside. We'll say that. He was rushed to the hospital and was later charged with attempted robbery. So that's not a good plan.
No.
You don't want to do that. If you're, for whatever reason, robbing a bank, which is a bad idea in the first place, make sure you have your stuff all ready to go so you're not, pulling your gun out willy-nilly and trying to take care of the business that way. It's a bad idea. Hey, if you work from home, do you ever work without clothing?
No.
About 10% of those who work from home wear nothing at all
I
on the
try to
job.
never go without clothing
Me
if
neither.
I can help it at all.
It says here 39% of respondents of both sexes said they wear sweats while working from home. 12% of males and 7% of females say sometimes they wear nothing at all. So there you go. You really hope your boss doesn't just pop in to make sure you're really working. What you doing? Yeah, I was working. Yeah, I'll bet you were. Where's your uniform? I work at home. This is my uniform. Hey, if you don't have enough time to exercise, that's a pretty common excuse. Well, same goes for doing the laundry, apparently. A quirky new concept, though, imagines a stationary bike that doubles as a washing machine, giving users the power to work out and clean their clothing at the same time. The BWM, which stands for Bike Washing Machine, was designed by students at the University of China. So there you go. What?
I would not do that.
You wouldn't wash your clothing with a bicycle?
No.
I think it's
No,
kind
I
of cool.
wouldn't.
I'm not saying that I want to do it, but I'm just saying it's kind of cool. Hey, leading political polls have Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump in a virtual tie in the race for the White House, which is kind of crazy because we are so far in advance right now, we don't even know for sure that those are the two candidates, do we? We kind of know because
Yeah.
we're down to that, but we haven't even had the, what are those called when they go out and do the thing?
Primaries?
Yeah, that's the thing. No, the other deal, the conventions. There we go. You ever have your brain turn off in the middle of a sentence while you're on the radio? That happened to me. But we haven't even had the conventions yet. But they're saying that right now they're in a virtual tie. So that's about the extent of the politics we'll talk about on the radio. We just don't do that here. Because when we do, my wife and I get in arguments, and that's not good.
We don't usually argue. We usually agree.
I argue because I don't want you saying the things that you're saying on the radio. That's the argument, even if we do agree. All right, that's going to do it for your Scoop of the Day. We've got a special guest on the way.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we're giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like. With designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We've got a special guest joining us right now, Patrick Quade, and Patrick is with a really kind of an interesting concept, a website, IWasPoisioned.com. How are you, sir?
I'm great, son. How are you?
Fantastic. Now, there's got to be a story behind this website, and I can't wait to hear it. First of all, I think it's a cool idea. Once I read into it, I was like, neat idea. What's the story about how this got started, though?
So I got food poisoning several years back, and I called the place and to let them know, not angry, but I just wanted to let people know, let them know that that may have an issue, and they said it wasn't us. Goodbye, and that was the end of the conversation. And at that moment, I realized 2 things: that one, they may be right, that's absolutely possible, and the other thing I realized is that if a bunch of other people were sick, then there's no way for me. So I decided that, I have some tech background, so that weekend I decided on the site that would allow people to report if they got food poisoning from a place.
So that way, if I'm sick and I go on that website to say, hey, I'm not feeling good, but I get on there and I see that 12 other people had the same issue, pretty good chances that it was probably something to do with that restaurant then, isn't it?
That's exactly the idea.
Again, the website is IWasPoisioned.com. How many people go to this website, and how long has this been going now?
It's been running for about 6 or 7 years. There's thousands of people visit it every day, but it keeps growing as awareness of the site grows. And
it's a neat site. I'm on the site right now, and this is one of those things that it makes a ton of sense. And I'm glad that you thought of it because, if you go somewhere, and I've had friends that have gone out and they got food poisoning, and then you got to think, was it something that they had there? Was it something, was it from somewhere else? But this is a really good way to say, hey, this is something that happened. And I'm assuming people share this on social media as well and kind of get the word out. So you probably have some people that click on because they saw their friend had food poisoning. But, if it was posted on your site and put on their social media, all of that working together. I see the social media tabs down the side here.
Yeah, exactly. You can share the posts, share it with your friends and your community to help figure out if there is actually a situation. If exactly right.
Now, where are you located? Where did this thing start? In which area?
I live in New York City.
And so it started right in New York City?
Yep, it sure did. And it's national, and it's actually global. I get reports from all over the world.
That is neat. And so in any town, so if I live in a small town in the middle of nowhere, I could still go on and post this on there.
Yeah, absolutely. It happens. Food poisoning is universal. It happens everywhere, and everyone's included as part of the dialogue.
Well, it's a neat idea, and it's a great public service. And I'm looking on here. Do you make money on this? Because I'm thinking, how in the world do you make a living doing this?
So there's a bunch of services that are provided, like the consumer alert service. You can sign up for alerts for your town or your city. That's a free service that's provided. There are other free services that are provided. The thing that is of value here is data for restaurants and for some of the bigger food chains, like gathering intelligence on what's going out there in their stores. Basically industry subscribing to reports, to benchmarking, to comparative analysis, so they can tell, are there red flags flashing at a certain store for their brand, or
Nice.
are they overall trending worse than their peers in a way that might make them want to re-examine maybe their suppliers or their processes? So there's a lot of value here for industry, which helps keep the consumer part of it free.
Well, that's really nice. And I like the fact that means that this is also going to help that industry, because if you're saying, hey, you guys have had a lot of issues with this particular thing, maybe you should check into that. If they actually respond and do, that would be a really, really good thing. So what an awesome idea.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's absolutely to help everyone. Everyone's on the same page with this. So the restaurant, people don't want to get sick. The restaurants don't want to make people sick. So it's just helping that flow better.
So is there a way for me, I'm on the site right now, again, the website for those of you listening is IWasPoisioned.com, and it says safer dining by crowdsourcing, and it's a neat concept. Is there a way for me to search for my town to see if there's a place here that I should steer clear of?
Yeah, there's a search bar up in the top right, so you can search on your town, and the results will come up, and it's the most value is when there's a bunch of reports. If there's one report from a place, then the value comes in when you get, say, 200 reports or 50 reports from a single place in like a 48-hour period or 24-hour period. That's when there's more certainty. But ones and twos, it's less clear that it was actually food poisoning, or B, it was that place.
Oh, very nice. And I just typed in a couple of communities that I know, and I see a little. I don't see a ton of things on here. Thank goodness. That's good, right? but I do see some on here. So that's really cool. What a great idea. And thank you so much for sharing with us today and kind of letting us know a little more about your website. This is a cool concept, and I hope you do really well with it. And we'll do what we can to get the message out and let folks know about it.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. Thanks for having me on, John.
Yeah, again, Patrick Quade, and it was really nice to visit with you today. The website, once again, if you'd like to check it out, it's pretty simple, pretty easy to find, IWasPoisioned.com. And again, if you're just tuning in at the very end and you're going, whoa, what was that all about? This is a place to go. If, let's say you went out to eat and you got food poisoning, it's a place to go on and notify that, and then they can track if that's just an isolated incident or if there's something going on. It's a really cool concept. And again, thank you for doing it. I'm really glad that you put this together.
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Thanks again for your time, John.
Definitely. Once again, the website, IWasPoisioned.com. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.
This portion of the program is brought to you by Keystone Treatment Center. Addiction is no laughing matter. Call Keystone Treatment Center toll-free at 1-844-204-1055.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The ultrasound technology called Doppler is used today in weather. It's also used in brain surgery and cardiology.
Really?
So Doppler, they use it for weather mapping, brain surgery, and cardiology.
I thought it was only a weather mapping thing.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Donald Duck comics were banned in Finland. You know why?
Why?
Because Donald Duck does
He
not
didn't have
wear
any pants.
So no way you can't have that in Finland. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
According to the American Film Institute, the number one movie song of the past 100 years was Over the Rainbow.
Oh, see,
That's a good song.
no.
What would you say is the best movie song from the
I
last
don't
100
know,
years?
but I don't like that one.
No, I like that one. That's a good one. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
John LaRoquette, the Night Court actor, narrated the 1975 B-rate horror film, The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I had no clue.
What?
Yeah. John LaRoquette, he was the narrator in The Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I thought
didn't-
you said he married.
No, he was the narrator.
Oh, okay.
A
I was
couple
like,
of,
how did he marry a
no,
movie?
No. Couple of fun facts for you right there on a Friday.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by RadioReallyWorks.com. I know you're listening to a podcast, but did you know the John and Heidi Show is also a radio show? And for those of you who have businesses, you should consider using radio to advertise your business. We can even help you create some catchy little jingles or amazing radio ads that will help pull people in. Get all the details or just learn more at RadioReallyWorks.com. That's RadioReallyWorks.com.
John and Heidi.
Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. We got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Like right now, we're going to talk about why marriages fail. No matter how much you love each other, your marriage could be doomed to fail by mundane little things like your age or previous relationships, even your parents, or even some nasty habits like smoking. There's a new study entitled, What's Love Got to Do with It? It identified factors that are most likely to sever relationships. You want to hear the top 8 reasons why marriages fail, Heidi?
Sure.
When a man is 9 or more years older than his wife, they're twice as likely to get divorced. So if you're a whole lot older than your wife, twice as likely. Another reason, men who marry before age 25 are twice as likely to get divorced than men who marry when they're a little older. That's good to know. I'm over 25, thank goodness. 20.
You weren't when we got married.
I think I was. I'm pretty sure I was. I have to do the math now. Yeah, I was right at 25.
Huh.
Yeah. Hey, 20% of couples who have children before they marry, either from the same relationship or from a previous relationship, divorce or separate, compared to just 9% of couples who wait to have children until after they're married. The number of children a couple have after they are married does not affect the rate of divorce, by the way. Couples are far more likely to divorce if the woman wants to have children much more than her husband. Next one on the list here, 16% of couples whose parents ever separated or divorced experience marital separation themselves. So 16% better chance if your mommy and daddy got divorced. Next one here. When one of the partners is in his or her second or third marriage, the couple is 90% more likely to end in divorce. Did you know
Whoa.
that? Yeah. 16% of couples who identify themselves as poor or where the husband was unemployed ended up separating and divorcing, compared to only 9% where they were having healthy finances. And the final one on the list, when one but not the other partner smokes, the marriage is far more likely to end in failure than where both couples smoke or both couples don't. So if one smokes and the other doesn't, that's the bad one.
We're in trouble on a lot of those fronts.
We are? No, we're not in trouble on any of those. Rose-colored glasses. We are going to be married forever. All right, a couple of things right there about reasons why marriages fail from the little survey called What's Love Got to Do with It?
This portion of the program is brought to you by RVRealtor.com. If you want to buy or sell an RV, go to RVRealtor.com. List your RV for free. Learn more at RVRealtor.com.
A woman in Texas got a water bill of $1,400, but she does have a solution. Maria Veguela of Wichita Falls, Texas, the resident there, she says, I have a problem. Her water bill is usually around $30, but in March, it came to $1,400. Seems that she had a leak in her home. City officials are refusing to waive the charges, too, because the water did go through her pipes. Of course, Maria says she can't pay, so they've come up with a compromise. She'll pay an extra $1 every month until the bill is paid in full. That means when the bill is finally paid off, it'll be the year 2115. So that's their solution.
Yeah, that's...
Good luck on all that.
Yeah.
So they can't waive the fee because they said, well, the water went through your meter, it went through your pipes, she had a leak that she didn't get fixed. $1,400 worth of water down the drain.
Jeepers
Usually she
creepers.
has a $30 bill. So that
Must
again,
have
their
been
solution.
a big leak if that came up
Apparently.
in 1 month.
Yeah, apparently. All I know is that's a big leak, and 2115. That's when it'll be completely paid off.
John and Heidi.
If you're like most people, you probably use the same password for multiple web pages. As you might guess, this makes things easier for cyber crooks. The problem with repeating passwords is once the hacker breaks into one account, they can easily
get
go
to
from account to
everything.
account. So
Yep.
experts warn, just because the bad guys haven't gotten to you yet, don't underestimate them. They recommend that even though it's a hassle, come up with different passwords and write them down in case you forget them. And then they also say change them once in a while as well. We have a friend that gave me an idea that I thought was a really good idea. She said she has a system, but the problem is if they've figured out the system, they could figure out all of them. But she has like the same core for the password, but if it's on Facebook, she'd have like F and then the password and then maybe B at the end. And if it was for Twitter, it'd be like T and then, all the way through maybe R at the end for Twitter, or whatever her little code would be for Twitter. I thought that was a pretty clever idea.
Mm-hmm.
So then your password's different for each site, but there's at least something that you can remember that's the same. So come up with a different password is what they're saying. I'm going to have to struggle to think of some different things. I love Heidi Small as my password for everything right now.
I have the same password on everything except for my bank accounts.
Oh,
so
there you go.
the important ones
What's
are
the
separate.
password?
I'm not telling.
Oh, I'm not telling is what I use for a password, too. All right, coming up, we're going to head over to the Justice Department. That's on the way.
Do you like fun t-shirts? Our friends at 80s Tees have a bunch of fun designs from the movies and pop culture. This month, we are giving you a chance to win a $25 credit to buy the t-shirt you like, with designs from Star Wars, Superman, Ghostbusters, Deadpool, and hundreds of others. Sign up to win a $25 credit. Register for free right now at winthisonline.com. We will select 2 winners at the end of this month. You could be one of them, but only if you register at winthisonline.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. This next story is kind of confusing, but I guess it all makes sense as well. The U.S. Justice Department issued a 60-day stay of execution for hundreds of thousands of swimming pools.
All right.
You wouldn't typically think of that. They have to either install ramps and wheelchair lifts or face lawsuits over violating disability laws. And they've had 6 years. Back in 2010, President Obama dramatically expanded the rules of access under the ADA Act, the American Disability Act. So I guess the A for the last part is the act, isn't it? Anyway, the new regulations mean every publicly accessible pool from municipal facilities and hotels must have 2 accessible means of entry. And at least one must be a ramp or wheelchair lift. So now spas, they also have to have either a lift or a transfer system. So what they're saying is there are a lot of places that cannot afford to upgrade to the new standards. So you're most likely going to see in the next 2 months a lot of places closing because under the new law, if you're not compliant, you can be sued. So in
Yeah.
many cases, they say it's cheaper to
it's
close.
far cheaper just to lose your business than it is to
So they're saying
battle
we're going
a
to just,
lawsuit.
you're going to see swimming pools all over the place that cannot get up to these standards, going to be closing. And again, I'm not trying to downplay the standards because here's what I will say is I've got friends that are in wheelchairs and I understand.
absolutely.
I'm not trying to downplay it. I want to make sure that comes across the right way. But a lot of the time, you'll see things where they'll find a way to make this work that's affordable, but they're saying there's just no affordable way with this.
That's
I mean,
too bad.
every single one of these, it's going to be a lot cheaper to just close the doors than it is to actually make it compliant. So I don't know if we have anybody around here that's going through that. If we do, you have to reach out. I'll throw this on our Facebook page so you can chime in and tell me all about it. Facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Good news. We got some good news on the way.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always try to wrap things up around here with some good news, and I think I've got some today, Heidi.
All right.
The other day we had some good news that wasn't such good news. I read it and I was like, why was that in with my good news? But this one I think is really kind of cool. Charles Eugster is a bodybuilder and a sprinter.
Okay.
But here's the interesting thing. He's also 96 years old.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, Mr. Eugster is considered basically the fittest 96-year-old on the planet. He has multiple records for his age. While nutrition and exercise are certainly integral in his tips for healthy living for the aging population, there is one other factor above all. The resident of Zurich, Switzerland says, retirement is one of the worst things you can do to yourself. Eugster says, we must do everything in our power to see that older people are healthy and productive. And he says we should have retraining facilities for older people. He says you're throwing away the skills and expertise of people at age 65, and that's ridiculous. Now, keep in mind, he's 96, so he could have retired over 30 years ago. But
okay,
he's
but
still
at
very
some
active.
point, you want to relax and enjoy the fruits of your labor.
We watched the movie The Intern with Robert... What is his name? With the intern, with the guy, Robert De Niro. There we go. Thank you for shouting at the radio. That helps. Robert De Niro was in that movie, and he was a retired man who lost his wife, and he was home alone, and he was just bored out of his mind and wanted to do something, and he became an intern. And I thought it was a really cool movie and a really cool concept. And now I do think that everybody deserves to be able to retire and relax, but for some people, that gets old quick.
Yeah. If you don't have the funds to be able to go out and enjoy yourself,
and it's not even just the funds. I've talked to people who they're retired, and I said, "So how you liking retirement?" A gentleman at our church, literally on Sunday, I spoke to a gentleman. He just retired. I said, "How you liking retirement?" He goes, "I'm not retired anymore." I said, "You're not?" He goes, "I could only handle that for a few weeks." He said, I took a part-time job. And I was like, "Oh, how many hours a week?" He's like, like 38. But, I understand that. So this guy, Charles Eugster, again, bodybuilder, 96 years old. I've got a link to his story if you want to read more about him at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thanks for listening on this Friday.
Time now for the bonus break. Only available here on the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Bonus break brought to you by WinThisOnline.com, where the winning is just the beginning. And today is Friday, the 27th day of May, and that means we only have a couple more days between now and the end of the month. Excuse me, I think I just choked on a frog in the middle of that sentence. A couple more days between now and the end of the month. And at the end of this month, we're giving away some pretty schwanky stuff at WinThisOnline.com. So if you haven't yet signed up, it's free. What are you waiting for? Go check it out. WinThisOnline.com. Kelly Osbourne. You know who that is, right?
Yes.
That's Ozzy's daughter.
Yes.
She's so angry with a hairstylist who allegedly had an affair with her papa, Ozzy, that she tweeted the woman's phone number out.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's got a couple of friends on Twitter, a couple million. So a couple million people just got the phone number of a woman
And
who's...
I bet this woman is getting all kinds of calls, too, because people love...
Well, and she's probably getting calls from other old guys that are like, hey, if you're into, having affairs... Did she do her damage, or did she help her out by getting her number out there? Thanks for the favor.
I saw her picture. She's nothing like Sharon.
I think Sharon's beautiful.
Is so pretty.
I think so, too.
And this lady just...
I don't get that.
Didn't make the cut.
I'm going to just go out. I'm going to say this right here, right now. Now, first of all, I'm not just saying this because my wife is in the room. This beautiful woman with me here is my wife. But I don't understand why you would cheat with anybody. I mean, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense. I've been married and divorced. It sucked. You were married and divorced. It sucked.
Yep.
I mean, that's not a fun thing to go through. Both of us had, somebody that was seeing somebody else, and that wasn't fun. You put somebody through a terrible, terrible thing. And here's the thing. If you are dating somebody that you know is married and you know that they're cheating, what do you think is going to happen someday if they, end up marrying you? A cheater will continue to cheat.
Yeah, that's for sure.
A cheater is a cheater is a cheater is a cheater. It doesn't change. So don't do that to other people. And if you have somebody that, that you're in a relationship with and you find out that they're cheating, break that off instantly because you don't want that. That's a bad
To be fair
deal.
to my ex, as far as I know, he didn't cheat.
Oh.
He was abusive.
I thought you said he was a cheater.
I don't know. He might have. I know he was doing drugs and he was abusive,
Oh,
but I
well.
don't remember if he cheated.
Husband of the year. Well, I guess I couldn't prove in a court of law that my ex did either, but I can tell you I know what I think I know.
I have been
so.
cheated on before,
Oh,
but
okay.
not.
Well, that's what I
it
was
wasn't
thinking of then.
necessarily him.
Well, glad we talked about that on the radio. I guess it's not on the radio. This is just a podcast. So, Heidi, what does it cost to make a running shoe?
I have no idea.
Warmer weather means more runners, or simply more people wearing running shoes at least, because you can wear running shoes even without running in them. But if $100 seems like a lot for a pair of shoes that you're not really going to wear to somewhere nice like a wedding or a restaurant, maybe it is. And if you look at what it costs to make these shoes, you maybe be surprised. SoulReview.com did some digging, and they found a $100 pair of running shoes runs about $25, maybe $35 to manufacture.
Wow.
Some are more, some are less, but that is the general production cost. After there are transportations and marketing costs that are attached to that, that's what makes them a little more expensive, apparently. The shoes themselves, $25 to $35.
That's crazy.
That's for a good pair. I'll throw a link to all of that at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show, because that's fascinating. Hey, want to watch hours of flushing toilets?
No.
There's a YouTube channel for crushing things in an industrial press and grinding items in a blender and shooting things out of catapults. Well, fans of toilets, you are so lucky. The Vintage Toilet Hunter has over 650 videos of flushing toilets. So if you got some time to flush down the drain, now you know what to do.
Who's got that kind of time on their hands? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, what? Anyway, if you want to do that, I don't want to talk to you anymore. No, if you got that as a hobby. I just thought of something. Remember when Troy was a little boy?
He used to watch drains. He didn't.
Yeah. Oh, it wasn't
flush
toilets. That was drains.
No.
Okay. Well, I guess that's not quite the same then. And we're going to finish our bonus break with one last thing, Heidi.
Okay.
The football game we can't say by name. You know the one.
Yes.
It rhymes with...
Pooper hole.
Can you believe we used to actually say that on the radio? We haven't. We didn't say that at all this year. But you can't say the word super followed by the word bowl, because you can get in trouble if you do that.
Yes.
It's trademarked. So to be safe and clever, in the years past, we always referred to it as the game that rhymes with pooper hole. I don't know why we quit doing that. I think it's because we have affiliates now that might be offended by that. Anyway, the big pooper hole game for 2019, 2020, and 21. The dates and the locations have now been announced.
Oh.
They announced it Tuesday. I didn't even know about this. NFL owners awarded the 2019 Pooper Hole to Atlanta, 2020 Pooper Hole, South Florida, and the 2021 Pooper Hole, Los Angeles.
Okay.
The decision doesn't come as a huge surprise, as Atlanta will unveil the $1.4 billion Mercedes-Benz Stadium in 2017.
Wow.
$1.4 billion.
If nothing
for a
else, I'd
stadium.
like to see that stadium.
You know, I don't think I'd want to go during the pooper hole, though, to be
No.
quite honest. Because, first of all, tickets are ridiculous. I don't want to
Yeah.
go to that. Second of all, we're not even sports fans.
No.
Wouldn't you feel so out of place if somebody wasted all that money giving us tickets to go to this thing? And then the third thing is, I'm not a big fan of crowds. I love people. I mean, too much. Somebody will come in the office here, and I'll chat with them for an hour, and Heidi's like, can
boy,
you please
is that the truth.
let them go? They got stuff to do. But I don't like crowds, which is really weird. I love people one at a time, please. Anyway, that's going to do it for the bonus break. If you'd like to know more about the fun things we've talked about that we do have links to, you can find those at facebook.com/John and Heidi Show. Bonus break brought to you by WinThisOnline.com.